Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Angelo Sokos, and I work as a professional musician, musical director, and pianist and bass player in the UK, around the London area. So I'm going to be reviewing this FiFine microphone. It comes in this lovely presented box. FiFine have very kindly sent me this product, but they know I always do independent reviews. And I always do reviews from the point of musicians using these products. So the main focus is going to be on the XLR output rather than the USB. I will cover the USB briefly, but the point of you listening to my channel is because I'm going to give a really informed review from a professional musician who uses studio equipment all the time. Okay, so specifically this is called the FiFine Amplitank, and it's the Tank 3. It's advertised as a podcast microphone, but I can tell you right from the off, I've used this for singing and it's absolutely fine. Really, really nice. And particularly, we'll just cover it immediately, brilliant for the plosives. Like the P sound, even if you're right into it and you go P, 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 Peter Piper picked, it's probably one of the best microphones I've ever used. I mean that genuinely, which you can just use raw and it doesn't do bad plosives. It's actually better for the plosives than some of the Shure products that I've used. So that's really saying quite a lot. And I'm not just saying that to be nice. So you're presented with a very neatly packaged box. In it, there's the two places. You'll have the wire, which I've got coming out of it at the moment. The wire is the USB-C to USB wire. You don't get like a jack lead or XLR with it. And then the place for the microphone, and you get a nice bit of padding on top. And also you get a really extensive set of instructions, which to be honest is just presented so well. So it folds up neatly just into that kind of square. But on these instructions, it absolutely goes through everything. So if you're not really, au fait with technology, or you just are thinking it's a new product that you want to kind of have some help with, I don't actually think you'd need to go online with it. It's detailed, it's for Mac and for Windows, and it's even got pictures to help you along. So there's all really, really big benefits with that, which I think is quite impressive. Okay, so the microphone itself has got some major improvements over the other FiFine products that I've used that are of a cheaper value. So this one is sub £100. I think when I looked at it, it was between £80 to £90 for sale on Amazon, but obviously there's deals and things all the time, so you can have a look to see what's current at the moment. The big thing with it over the other products that I've used is that they've made the body heavy enough. A lot of reviewers like myself had said, can you please make it heavy enough so we can use it on these professional like Rhodes and Elgato stands, and the stand doesn't ping up or start to creep up because the mic isn't heavy enough. Now the microphone is heavy enough, which is a really big breath of fresh air. They've also made some nice improvements that the dials have now been put on the sides rather than on the back, and also the mute button I've found now doesn't really affect the sound as much as it did before. Bad things about the microphone, there's only two, which right from the off, let's just get down to it. It's attached through a stand mic to my table. When I hit my table, it does pick up the sound that's generated through the vibrations more than another microphone that I have. However, the other microphone I have is this by Apollo, which is the Sphere LX, and these can be bought for up to about £800. So it's it's much for muchness. But you'll be very interested. I'm going to compare the sounds. You will be shocked at how close they are in sounds when you're just doing like podcasting. And the other thing is that is actually a problem for me. Not that I wouldn't want the product, but this is a problem for me for certain things, is that the microphone jack lead, and I normally always use jack XLRs, so XLRs, not jack lead. So I'm using the XLR at the moment, is that it actually hits the frame of the microphone if you want to twist your stand. So for example, my desk is here for talking to you. My piano's over there, so what I would want to do is spin this round. But I can't without unplugging it. And there's no way around it because the jack lead is going to hit this. And I see a lot of people who do like musical instrument reviews and piano reviews who will need to turn these kind of things around often. So that's maybe something for FiFine to consider in the future. But they're my only two bad points. Everything else I love about it. The build quality is good. And to be honest, I think it's worth its current money. Definitely. It's worth paying more money for this than some of the other products that I've reviewed way in the past that they started making initially. The sound quality is improved, the body is improved, it's more robust, and it's done a really nice job with how you can tighten it and arrange it. I know I mentioned about the XLR, but if you're going to use it fixed and just use it on one side, it's fine. And obviously I'm speaking through it now so you can hear it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to chat to you through it as we're doing, have a look at some plosives and get a bit further away and close to it. That will do with the XLR side. We're then going to spin it round and we're going to have a look at it with the piano. I'll play the piano and do a little bit of singing with it so you can hear different kind of ideas of what it might be useful for a musician. Also with something like this, I can tell you, I won't do it in the review, but I can tell you for sure it picks up things like guitars very, very nicely. And you don't need to chuck a load of electricity in this microphone to give it a nice boost, right? So I'm using it on phantom power, but it is really, really nice through some of the mixers and things that I've tried it on as it is, and it doesn't need like a huge boost on it. I've got it at like 50% on my input, and it's coming out totally fine into OBS, which is what I'm recording on. Just one thing to note is I mentioned the dials on the side and stuff, right? They won't work when you're in XLR. XLR is like an analog output. These are only going to work when you've got your USB-C to USB cable in there, which we'll deal with in a moment. Okay, so speaking through it, it recommends in the manual you should speak only from the front of it and that you should speak 2 to 6 inches away. So that's what I'm doing. Even if I get a bit further away and I'm pointing my voice to it, it's totally fine. And it's quite nice because that means if I want to sing into it, I can get a bit further. It still picks up my voice, but I can stop like overpowering the mic. I also love about this mic that when you're to the side of it, it's very, very quiet. So if you've got background noise, obviously the other side of the mic, any noise the other side of the mic, like a TV, I actually don't think you'll be able to hear it like properly. I have a TV on in a room that's just there, and I can hear it through my noise reducing microphone headphones, but I can't hear it through the monitor of the mic, which is great news. If I go to the side of it, hello, 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 testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it's pretty good. Even if I shout, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, it's great, lovely. Okay, so let's get on and have a look at how it is with the piano. So for the piano, we need to spin it round, which unfortunately means I need to go ahead and mute the mic so that I can take out the XLR and put it on the other side. Bear with me. I just realised I was more prepared than I thought for the review. That's why I'm using it on the side, because it meant I didn't need to take it out. Okay, let's swap out our camera angles. Okay, so you're now seeing my piano. We're going to slide over here. With this, obviously, you'll have to excuse this in the way, if you were just doing it from this point of view, you would make it so that you're not in the way of yourself. But, it's just for the purposes of hearing a bit of music. So here's the microphone just with a spoken form, and then I'll show it with some reverb and show it with a small bit of auto-tune on as well. Be very careful not to get any copyright issues with this, hence just making stuff up. And then put a bit of reverb and auto-tune. So you can see it works perfectly well with that. And if you wanted to do speaking over like music in the background with a nice balance, it is a bright enough microphone that I think it handles it really, really well. Okay, let's now compare it to a microphone that is over 8 times the value of it. Okay, so this is the Sphere LX. This is my main microphone for the studio. It even has like a super crazy cool, well, you can't see it like that because I've got it on a fixed zoom, but it's got a cool like jack. Right, okay, so what we're going to do now is compare them, and you are going to be shocked at how they just sound so similar when you're speaking through them. So now we are using the FiFine microphone as you've been hearing the whole video. We're now going to mute that, and we're going to use this professional studio microphone. Okay, so we're now using the professional studio microphone. Now, apart from very slight differences in volume and things like that, you are obviously going to be thinking the same as me, that there isn't really a whole lot of difference. I'm still hand holding it. It deals with being handheld much better. You probably couldn't hand hold the microphone, the FiFine microphone, because as I said, it picks up those noises, and obviously something like this you can, and it's not going to pick them up. But you know, it's shocking how well FiFine have done with the technology, and I'm not just saying that to be nice. They have gifted me the product, but they haven't said, you know, you have to just be polite to us because you have. I'm being super honest. It's quite incredible. So this is the Sphere LX, and let's swap back to the FiFine. And here we are, swap back. And to be honest, for the difference in money, if I was just doing podcasts, not only podcasts, you know, if I was doing podcasts as my like main source of living or my hobby, I would be totally happy with this. Now what we need to do is see what it's like through its USB. Now, its USB I've noticed something with. When you use its USB into an additional USB input, say you run out of inputs, right, on your Mac or Windows, but I'm on a Mac. So if you run out of inputs and then you plug in an extender, it won't recognize the microphone through an extender. I mean, it like absolutely refuses to recognize it through an extender. So what I'm having to do now, just in my case, is plug it into where I would have my audio interface. So we're going to lose all sound momentarily while I switch it over, but within one video, you need to hear the differences. So here it is through the XLR, and then we're going to mute everything, and I'll be back with you with it through the USB. Here we go. Bear with me. Really, really not a big deal, yeah? The first thing that I love about this is that we have a mute button. And the mute button creates significantly less noise than we'd had before. So on one of the other microphones that I reviewed, it was quite noisy pressing the mute button on and off. With this one, about normal, what you'd expect. On top, you've got 2 dials, so you've got the volume for the microphone. So testing, 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 testing. So I can change that volume on the fly, which is really nice. I love how it's on top, and before, again, the dials kind of created some noise through the mic. This one really doesn't. I love it so much better. And then I can create the mix for my headphones, which is lovely in my case, because, you know, my first thought was, oh no, I have to unplug my audio interface. In my case, obviously you wouldn't normally, you'd sort something out, but for the video I have to unplug the audio interface, and I thought, oh no, then I can't hear the sound. Wait a minute, just plug it in to the microphone. So it's mini jack, or, you know, what's it called? Yeah, a mini jack. the small one to the 1/4-inch jack goes into the back of the microphone, and you can monitor it like this. I'm really super impressed with it. and it's absolutely going to be a product that I choose to keep. I'm going to use it myself and probably replace one of my cheaper mics with it. Final thoughts about it is that FiFine originally, I think, were like a company for people who are on a budget. They've upped the value of this microphone, and I think it was well worth it. And I would now not say to people that this is a beginner budget microphone, even if it's advertised as that, right? I count a budget microphone to be something of a budget quality, and probably nowadays up to about £40-50 because I'm in the UK. This one is shy of £100, say 80 to 90. But the quality of it is absolutely comparable to something much more expensive. And I think you could really, really do yourself justice by thinking, you know what, I can save money on quite an expensive microphone and buy something of this value, and I'm getting a really, really nice intermediate to high level product. Everything about this is just really, really nicely made. So that's my review on it. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them below. And I hope to see you again for another one. Thank you very much.